Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Caroline, a practicing board-certified family medicine physician, practicing in an RVU-based system, and this channel is created to help RVU-based primary care physicians scale their work RVUs and maximize their income. Now, in this video today, I want to talk about the relationship between work RVUs and compensation. In case you didn't already know this information, hopefully this video will fill in that gap for you. Now, relative value units, or RVUs, are essentially a metric used to measure provider productivity and ultimately determine compensation. Now, RVUs are broken down into three different categories. And so you have your work RVUs, which essentially is the work that you do as a physician. There's practice expense RVUs, and there's malpractice insurance RVUs. Now, the work RVUs are what you want to focus on as the physician because you can actually control how much RVUs you generate in order to maximize your income. And just to recap what I mentioned in the last video, the annual work RVUs are multiplied by a conversion factor that is in dollar amounts in order to generate your compensation. Of course, both of these pieces of information you can find in your compensation reports. So how are work RVUs generated in the first place? Work RVUs are only tied to CPT codes, meaning that work RVUs are only generated by the billing of services rendered. So essentially, how valuable are the services that you provide? So only the services that you bill for, those CPT codes, are captured in your work RVUs, nothing else. And so it's not about the amount of hours that you work in a day or that you see more patients than your colleagues. It is literally the billing of services. So the name of the game is learn how to bill. This is a language that you must learn to speak as fluently as possible. It is imperative that you master billing and coding in order to scale your work RVUs and maximize your income. Now, I do want to point out that you do not need to become as fluent as a billing and coding specialist. That's not your job unless you want to. But as a physician, you do need to understand enough to be able to bill and code appropriately in order to not leave any money on the table. Now, if your billing is done by different entities, so someone other than you, I still highly recommend that you try to get involved in that process somehow. Because one thing that is very important is that you're the clinician. A billing specialist is only a billing specialist, meaning that their job is to tick through some boxes and make sure that what you've documented and billed for actually match. They're not the ones seeing the patient. They're not the ones in the room with you as you're doing your work, but you are. And so you as a physician know the services that were provided. And so you always want to make sure that there aren't going to be any mischarges or any incorrect charges. And if there are, that would be the time to let it be known when you're part of that billing process. You never want to be fully detached from that process, because if your compensation is ever a question or if your work reviews are ever a question, you wouldn't know otherwise unless you were at least somehow part of the process and know exactly the charges that are being put in based on the work that you've done and nothing gets missed. This strategy is by far, hands down, the main strategy I used to scale my income in less than a year, and I want you to be able to do the same as well. If this was interesting to you and you want to hear more valuable information like this, then consider subscribing, because I post a video like this every single week, doing my best to help RVU-based primary care physicians scale their work RVUs and maximize their income. If you're interested in learning more about the strategies I've used in my work to scale my income, then I've included a link to my RVU consulting program if you want to check that out. I've also included a link to a free training video if you want to check that out as well. Make sure to leave a like and share this video with your colleagues. I'll see you next time.